Hi everyone, welcome to day 5 of ML challenge. In this day 5 video we are going to discuss about lists. Lists are really important concept in Python, and when we are going to jump onto machine learning, in machine learning we need to do a lot of numerical computation. Lists are going to be really handy. So first thing first, I'm just going to compare the difference between array and list. So I'll just declare a list in front of you. Let's say this is the list. I'll call it as name list. Let's say we make it a name list, right? This is a name list in which we'll declare 3 names: Mark, John, Bill, and one more, let's say Musk, right? So this is the list. So if you do programming in any other language, you must have seen such thing known as arrays, right? So what is the difference between array and list? So in Python there is no concept known as array. There are NumPy array, which I'll discuss. There's no concept known as array. We have lists. So what is the major difference between array and lists? So if I talk about any other programming, so the thing is that in array you can only declare one data type. So let's say you are declaring an array, right? Let's say this is an array. So in array I can only declare strings. This is a string. I can only declare string, or I can only declare integers. Let's say this, right? So this is an array where I can only declare one data type only. But in list we can mix and match. So let's say I declare this thing that ABC 1 3 and then again John. So this is a valid list, but if I talk whether this is a valid array or not, it's not. So the major difference between array and list is that in array you only have to declare one data type, but in list you can mix and match. You can declare anything you want to declare. Let's jump on to next part, NumPy array versus list. So NumPy array, don't worry about that right now. We'll discuss that thing later on in this challenge. But the important concept is that NumPy array are a really important library in Python, which is used for mathematical computation. You are going to use this if you are going to learn data analysis and machine learning. So the major difference between NumPy array and lists is that lists are the core part of Python. So right now I'm declaring list. I don't need to import any library, but with NumPy array I need to import NumPy library like this. Import NumPy as NP. So this is importing the NumPy library with the alias NP. So that is a major difference between NumPy array versus list. In NumPy we have to import a library, whereas lists are core part of Python. Right? This is the major difference between list and NumPy array. So if we need to declare the list, it's very simple, as I have declared it here. Name list, it's equal to Mark, John, Bill and Musk. So it's really simple and straightforward process. Now we'll jump on to next part, which is nested list. That means making lists out of lists. So let's say I'll declare a list, again known as name list, right? Name list 1, let's say. Now I'm going to declare one list inside this list. So this is Mark, right? This is John, and then this is Steve. Yep, you need to make sure that the syntax is right. That can be a bit problematic sometimes. Then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to say the role of Mark is manager, the role of Steve is supervisor, the role of John is supervisor, and then role of Steve is CEO, right? And then let's say the age of Mark is 24, whereas age of John is 26, and age of Steve is 28, right? So this is a nested list inside a list. So let's say if I need to call any element inside this list, what I need to do, I'll just declare it like this. And this was a syntax error. You need to make sure that you always put a comma inside after every list. So this is the list, right? So let's say I need to call this first list inside this list. So this is an important concept, that the list place start with 0. So this is at place 0, right? This is at place 1. This is at place 2. So this is an important thing to remember. So right now, so it's a name list 1 0. I have called the very first list inside this list. So let's say now I want to call John. I want to make sure that we print John, so I'll say 1. So it's giving me John. So what's happening here is that is saying inside name list, bring me an element in the first, bring me the element at the first place. So at the first place is this list. It will print this list, and inside this list, bring me a second element, that is John, right? So that's how you can go through the nested lists. So the next part is indexing inside the list. So indexing is that you can access the individual list element as I have shown you here. So this is also a very important concept which they have discussed in day 5 ML challenge. That let's say I'll declare a new list here with the name of planets. I'll call the planet name Mercury, Venus. I'm not going to declare all the planets, maybe 5 or 6 planets. Maybe not 5 or 6. My typing can be pretty bad, so I'll declare only 3 planets here. I'll just declare Pluto. Yeah, it was my favorite planet. Yeah, so this is planets. So if I need to call 0, right? Again, I have done something wrong, right? Yep, unexpected intended. Yep, let's do it again. Yep, it will print Mercury. Similarly, if you want to print Venus, you can print Venus. And also in list, you can use negative number to access the list. So if I say -1 here, it will give me Pluto, right? So the last element is Pluto, -1. Similarly, like that, I can work with -2, that's Earth. So this can be really handy once you start going through the list. So I'll just bring this list, I'll just use this list for this purpose also. The next concept is of slicing. So the slicing means that if you need a bunch of data from the list, so let's say I'll say 0 till 2, it will print Mercury and Venus. The most important concept in list which you need to make sure in this part is slicing is that the last element is not considered. So I have declared 0 to 2. That means I'm asking the list to give me the element from 0 till 2, not 2. So this statement will give me 2 elements from the list. Number 1, which is at place 0, and then number 2, which is at place 1, not the element which is at place 2. So that means when I say planet 0 to 2, it will give me Mercury and Venus. If I say planet 0 to 3, it will give me Mercury, Venus and Earth. So this is basic thing about the slicing part. You can really use this slicing in different ways. You can really print around and just use different concept, like I said 0. So that means let's start from 1. Let's do this thing, right? So what this means is that start from 1 and print every element after this. So this thing is gonna be really handy when we are gonna jump onto data manipulation thing. So let's suppose that I want to change the list value, right? What if I want to change the list value? It's really simple. I'll call planets number 2 and I'll say let's call it Uranus, right? So the list is updated. I'll again print the list and let's see. Yep, so you see Earth is replaced by Uranus. So that's how you can change the list value. Again, simple and really straightforward process. Now let's jump on to lists method and functions also. I'll mention the word functions here. Lists have a lot of inbuilt functions which we can use to go through the list and play around. One of the most popular function is length. Yep, so it says the length of the list is, there are 4 elements inside the list, right? So let's say there is one more function I'll use, sorted. This will sort the list alphabetically, right? MPUV, Mercury, Pluto, Uranus and Venus. That's how it works. I can also ask it to sum up. Oops, sorry. Yep, this will not work here, sum. I'll give you a different example of sum. Let's say this is a sum, because the thing is that in this list every element is a string, and this function sum will not work on strings, it will only work on integers. That's why it gave us this error. Now it will work, right? It will add all these elements and give us a total input. I can ask the maximum number also. Similarly, there are a lot of functions which we can really play around and give them a look, right? So this was about list methods and function. I'll discuss this concept of tuples in the next video. For now being that's it, and let's jump on to hands-on exercise. The link of that is in the description. Thank you.